Boom. Okay, here we are. Matthew, did someone just knock on your door?
Someone did just knock on my door. We had a delivered first thing in the morning.
Okay,
Tis the
well,
season.
tis the season, and today is the first official podcast of military marketing, adventures in military marketing with Tiffany and Matt. And we're excited to be here. Now, I guess because I think it's time. This is, listen, we're here because we want to help businesses and companies authentically engage with the military community. So, Matt, please introduce yourself and then I shall do the same.
My name is Matthew Gafford. Thank you for joining us on our new adventure. I represent the Barracks. We're a marketing agency designed specifically to connect brands with the military. And working previously, I'm a former USAer, learning how to authentically connect, and that can mean visually, that can mean using vernacular, the right copy, but really it's working with brands to figure out how to make authentic connections that aren't necessarily based on Veterans Day or Memorial Day.
Yes, agreed. Yes, and I am Tiffany Orner. I am third generation military, second generation female Air Force veteran, two-time military spouse, and proud military mama. Serving's in my DNA. And I lead IGY6 Company. It is a military marketing agency that directly connects your brand with the military market, elevating you from a choice to a recommendation. As Matt said, it is so important to be intentional when you speak to America's military. I have worked in the nonprofit space and the for-profit space, and I've seen many businesses and organizations, exactly what you said, Matt, just kind of, thank you for your service. Why aren't they buying? Well, it's because you're not getting intentional with that. I've been boots on the ground, and that is IGY6, right? We offer obviously consulting, but my favorite is experiential marketing, meaning boots on the ground. Let's get your brand on base at these events. And then, not just that, let's show up with intention. Let's try and meet some of those physiological needs that some of our military are struggling with. So I do that. I obviously also provide social media support. My goal again is to brand your business in the military space as a recommendation over just another company giving discounts. So that's really important to me. So I guess first question would be, what are some of the challenges we face in this market? Matthew, go.
Well, part of it is let's even start at the beginning. So
Okay.
talking about the military market as a segment. When somebody says military marketing, usually people are going to like, what are we talking about here? When people think military, you think active duty, you think camouflage, you think those who are stationed overseas. Well, the truth of the matter is the military segment is more than those who are currently serving.
Amen.
You have Guard and Reserve. You also have spouses. You have dependents. You have veterans. So instead of the roughly 1 million people who are on active duty right now, you're talking about a consumer segment of about 40 million in total. And it's for a military household, the spouses are generally the ones who make a lot of the financial decisions. So, it's some of the challenges come in, for a brand to realize the size and scope of the segment that is available. And let's be honest, this is a consumer segment. The
Yes.
military are people. They buy things, they eat, they wear clothes, they drive cars,
We're
they
so
do
weird.
everything
I
that
know.
everyone else does. They spend
Yes.
money. So it's
Yes.
okay to market to them through an appreciation message, with the hope of still creating consumers and advocates at the end of a sales funnel.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important to not kind of loop us all, like you said, just like, oh, the military. There's so much diversity and opportunities for segments within the military. caretakers, that's another big one. They are, underserved. Those amazing superheroes that take care of those of us that are disabled from our service. They're another ones that completely get glossed over and forgotten about. I think it's really important for companies and businesses to understand that it takes time, right? You're not just going to hire the Barracks or IGY6 Company and then within 30 days, ta-da, you are it. The military sector, we are chief skeptic officers, all of us, even the enlisted. We get it. We know what you're doing. We're going to take the discount. Don't get us wrong, because we are struggling there. Listen, that's the first thing so many of us ask for. I know I struggled, right? I'll be fully transparent on this podcast. Both during and after my service, we struggled. And that was one of the first things I would ask is, hey, do you give a military discount? And I remember when we moved from Northern California, where I was stationed, to upstate New York, I forget where we were. And I was like, hey, do you guys give a military discount? And the girl was like, no, but we give a college discount. And I'm like, what? So it's more than a discount. It's actually taking a moment to get intentional with the military community, understand that there are so many opportunities to engage. For instance, this month on the 7th, we had the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. On the 14th, this past Saturday, we had Wreaths Across America Day. That's a great opportunity for businesses to not only just mention that in their social media, but show up, right? Remember, honor, teach, Wreaths Across America, the opportunity, and it's the same day, it's the same Saturday across the US, from Arlington to little old Fort Walton Beach, Florida. You get to go lay wreaths on the headstones of our military that are no longer there. And what they ask is that we salute, we say the military member's name, and then we move on to the next one. So it's a really pretty, um just visually stunning to see so many community members show up. But like, you could bring your colleagues, you can make that a volunteer time off, right? Give them a couple hours ahead, right? Give them Friday off, couple hours early, and then everyone fall in Saturday morning. On the 20th, it's the Space Force birthday. Cool. Right. So if you're in an area where there is a Space Force installation, say it loud, say it proud. Right. And then on the social side, it's like, if you're selling stuff and the content already hit, that's time to put 50, $100 behind that 5 to 10 mile radius and really punch it in. Make sure that it is amplified in such a way that you start to tell the why behind your support, not just happy birthday Space Force, but what does that mean to you? Right. I live in Northwest Florida. I'm on Central Time. And it's beautiful here, right? We have Destin, we have Pensacola up the road. What a lot of people don't realize is that about 72% of the money that comes into this economy, Matt, is DoD money, right? We have Eglin, we have Hurlburt, we have Dukefield, we have 7th Group, we have 6 RTB, we have Whitingfield, we have NOSP, we have United States Coast Guard Destin, we have 20 SPSS, which is Space Force. We have all these installations, yet what's the focus? Tourism. It's only about 12%, right? So if the BRAC comes and takes out all these bases, you got a really pretty swamp. So I think it's so important. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast. And just so everyone knows, this is our first time. We recorded this last week and we were so proud of ourselves. And then I get off and I realized I was a producer. I put myself into the platform as a producer. So poor Matt is just sitting there responding and talking to himself. So anyway, again, Matt, I thank you so much. But any insights as to intentional posting or anything, like low level lifts, right? Because a lot of people. Go ahead.
So yes, no, I'll back up a little bit. So what Tiffany is great at is focusing in on the micro portion of it. So she just walked you through her local area in the Panhandle of Florida, where and so if you look at military centric markets, that's where she's talking about where so much of the percentage of money comes in that are military money, or DoD, Department of Defense. Another way to say that is OSD, the Office of the Secretary of Defense. So we're going to find ourselves speaking in military acronyms a lot,
Yes,
because that's how the military speak. So hit us in the comments. Let us know if we don't define something along the way. But for those that might not live in a very military centric market, That doesn't mean that you don't have military populations. Guard, reserve, veterans. Veterans live like so. Houston, Texas. So I'm a Texas born and bred. Houston, Texas does not have an active duty military base. However, Harris County is one of the larger per capita instances of veteran population. There is a joint reserve base in the area, but Houston as a whole has a very large index of military veterans. So whenever a brand is looking to speak to somebody, even at a micro level, it does help to understand which population you're speaking to, active duty, guard, reserve, spouses, or which segment within the military segment. But it helps to understand who your audience is. And, guys, we're not telling you anything new. This is marketing 101, right? Understand who you're talking to before you put a message out. But whenever you put a message out, it goes back to where we started. Be intentional. The calendar right now is a great guide. The calendar is also, you're going to learn some things. Not a lot of folks understand that the military celebrate birthdays. So
Yes.
the, I
Yes.
mean, every service branch has a birthday, and if you don't believe, find your closest Marine, ask them when their
Oh
birthday
my
is,
gosh. Don't
and
do that.
they will tell you. They celebrate individually. Now the other service branches do as well. The Marines take it to a different level, but those are elements where you're able to. It gives you content. It gives you something to work with from, be a social standpoint, which is the easiest low hanging fruit. Just because, that's a quick post. That's a little bit of boost money behind it. All the way to doing something from a larger standpoint. If you have brick and mortar locations, for example, you can build campaigns around veteran populations, active duty
Yeah.
populations, whomever it is in a local market.
Yeah. And um, absolutely. And to get back, it's so important to know your audience in the military space, right? If you're near an Air Force base, let's talk airmen. If you're near like Marines, right? Marines, Army, sailors, soldiers, guardians, for those of you who don't know, coasties, everyone, it's just like you, right? It's your name. You want people to call you by your name, not some one off, not guy. You want that intention. And it doesn't take much, but sometimes it's a heavy lift. And that's why you have us. Consistent communication is key. Again, just showing up sometimes and dropping a photo, a stock photo, Matthew,
Ooh, yeah. See,
stock photos.
that's one of my pet peeves of anything. And again, it goes back to being intentional and authentic.
Mhm.
If anything, the military is authentic. So if a brand is going to play in the military space and you want to show a visual, the first place people go is a Google image search, or a stock image house of your choice, and somebody sees a photo they really like because it has someone in a uniform. Well, you really need to check that uniform. There are inconsistencies. There are Halloween costumes. There are, I mean, it's something where if you put something out that is representing that you are invested in the military community, you understand the military community, you are supporting the military community, and then you put a Halloween, someone in essentially a Halloween costume out, the military is just going to laugh and go on about their day. Now, they're not going to pay attention to you, and they're not going to take you seriously. So looking
Yeah.
at imagery is just as important as the words you use. If you're going to refer to soldiers, then you better be talking about Army. You should not refer to soldiers as the collective military. Now, if you're looking for more generic language, something like troops is more acceptable. But
Service members.
service members is a better way to say
Yeah.
that. So it's being intentional with your words, your choices, and your images.
And also too, like look internally, right? If you're a medium sized company, I'm pretty sure you have some veterans or military spouses on your payroll. So that's another good way to start planting the seed of
Absolutely.
authenticity. It's like do an all call, a memo or whatever it is, hey, who are my vets? who is served. On top of that, you get some tax write-offs if you get us soon enough when we come out. That's another podcast. But in all seriousness, ask around who is served, and then start to highlight those people. A lot of people don't know, how do I even start, Tiffany? Where do I go? Well, do you have military employees? Well, I don't know. Well, that's a problem, right? That needs to be a question. During onboarding. On top of that, do you have a mil spouse? Do you have a prior mil spouse? Like, let's start celebrating those of us who sacrificed. And that includes our mil spouses, because though I'm both, they take a lot, right? Right now, my husband is TDY in South Florida, and I'm doing it all. Granted, I only have one baby here that's home. The other ones are all grown up, but it's hard. And now we're in a cadence, and guess who comes home Thursday? Right? He's going to be like the Tasmanian devil. He's going to come in here and ruin everything. Like, it's so clean, and listen, he's a clean guy. He keeps everything spotless, but we have this cadence. So anyway, to circle back to my point, really look and turn it around. If you want to know where to start asking your employees, right? Authenticity, just culture is a buzzword right now. So one way to hit two birds, one stone is start having these authentic conversations. Schedule 15 minutes with your vets, with your mil spouses, with someone who has a service member in their scope, right? A child, a sister, a brother, and start having those conversations and ask them, like, well, what do they need? Do they need support? Not all of us do. A lot of us do. But those are some good points. What else can we talk about? Can we talk about this? Hold on, I got to get the right. Remember what I showed you? Can we educate them on BAH? Do we know what that is?
Why don't you lay the knowledge on them with that acronym?
Yes. Okay. BAH, Base Allowance for Housing. What I have here, and just scroll real quick. Each show is going to be 19 minutes and 47 seconds long. I am a proud Air Force veteran, and the United States Air Force was established September 18th, 1947. So 19 minutes, 47 seconds long.
Did we
Real
mention
quick.
service branches like their birthdays? Just, case in point, the same.
So with that, some of the ways you can market live, real time, search your area's BAH rates. They are out, meaning in 2025, we're going to get a little bump in the base allowance for housing. Each military member gets money to live because our pay is not nearly as robust as our civilian counterparts. So with that said, some gold I'm going to drop real quick is Google BAH rates 2025, where you live, and start talking about it. If you are a hotel, or if you are an apartment complex and you need to fill your apartments, get real. Talk about how your rates align with these BAH rates. Matt, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It goes beyond having an understanding for the single largest cost that
Yes.
anyone is going to have is going to help you better position for the rest of consumer spending. Groceries cost what they cost. There's not a lot of fluctuation in prices. It's fine, but pick another segment. Well, if you have an understanding that the military and even from a income standpoint, those rates are posted. Like if you know that someone is of a certain rank, which is designated by a letter and a number within the military, then you get a feel for what they bring in. Well, knowing that if they live off base, then this is what they're going to be supported for or supplemented from the government. It just helps get a better feel for what the economic situation is of active duty military. Now, the interesting point about the military segment collectively overall, per capita, military veterans, meaning the military community, have a greater household expendable income than those that did not serve.
Yes, veterans. So we have like 30 seconds left. Yes, this was so good. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for watching. Matt, thank you so much. I simply adore you. We will be back next week. We will give more tips, tricks, and best practices in engaging the military market. All right, we're at 10 seconds. Anything else? Go.
Hey, this was fun. Let's do it again next week.
So much fun, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Air Force Day, and we will see you next week. Bye, y'all.